You're in a creative rut, one trick is just to stop taking things so seriously. Perfectionism, it disables us. Like when you're a kid and you have a box of Legos, you just instinctively lock blocks together. It's just that step of taking those two first blocks and connecting them. It's the same for the creative process for anything. Just connecting ideas together and playing. It's just a process, a thing that you play with. If you're making a song, just play random notes until you get something you like. If you're drawing animation, just scribble around. Like every complex animated scene just starts with a simple thumbnail drawing. So the trick is just to not focus on the end goal, but just focus on the habits, the process that leads to the end goal. Learning a new creative skill requires a tremendous amount of output. You have to create a large body of work. It's been said that it takes 1,000 paintings to make one that doesn't suck. So in the specific case of painting, it would be unproductive to spend your first year just working on one painting, trying to make this one canvas the most epic thing in the world. In reality, that's a huge bet that you're likely to lose. It's a big gamble. When you make something, it's a bet that it'll succeed or not succeed or be somewhere in the middle. If you made 12 paintings a year, that's 12 purposeful bets that you're iterating on and improving on, and one of those bets is likely to succeed. Even better would be, in the case of learning painting, if you made a painting every single week. You have 50 paintings in a year, then that same mindset applies to any craft. And the larger the body of work you put out there, the more you publish, the more you create, the more likely it is that something will catch on and possibly be shared around or lead to other opportunities. So the biggest step to getting to quality is in fact quantity. Quantity oftentimes leads to quality. Competition and collaboration are both super important. I think we often hear about the benefits of collaboration because they are so great when you combine different people's perspectives and minds and abilities. You can make something that's greater than the sum of its parts, something that's greater than any one individual could do. At the same time, competition is also important to push the individual to greater capacity and to not only rely on what other people are doing or other people's opinions, but to grow within yourself more inwardly. But competition is very multifaceted, and it can go in a healthy way or a bad way, as in if you're always focusing on what other people are doing and trying to compete with them, that can be discouraging because there's always someone that's a step ahead, always someone that has an entirely different set of abilities. But it can also be motivation and inspiration. It's just about taking it with a healthy dose. I think probably one of the better forms of competition is with yourself, trying to be better than you were yesterday, focusing on your own race, running your own race, not always looking around at the other racers. Then you get distracted and you don't know where anyone else is coming from totally. But then again, just trying to be better than you were yesterday, that can also become a problem, because sometimes you just need to rest and recharge, and a lot of type of skills are a lot more subjective than they are objective. For instance, like if you were making hamburgers, if you made 10 hamburgers one day, but then you made 12 the next day, then quantitatively you made more hamburgers. That can be measured. But let's say you're painting like a weird abstract picture one year, and then the next year you paint some other kind of picture. But it's a lot more subjective in terms of which picture is better. It's not even about better or worse a lot of times when it comes to the arts. It's more about what type of ideas you're trying to communicate. And sometimes we just have to get out of our own ways in terms of judging ourselves, because there's a lot of artists and bands who have put out work that they themselves don't like, or that they call garbage, that I happen to really like. So sometimes it's just better just focus on the work itself and not worry about, is this good, is this bad. Just be in the moment, be in the flow state, just put things out there, and it'll just take on a form of its own. And we just can't get too caught up in attaching ourselves to the things we make. Like, be super attached to it while you're making it, but then once it's done, you just kind of have to detach from it and move on to the next thing. What's the difference between a client and a customer? This is an important thing to really understand if you're a freelancer or just trying to start any kind of online business. In short, a customer is someone who buys services or products, and a client is someone who hires you personally to solve their problems. It's much more tailored to the client's needs, whereas customers are buying general solutions to their problems, and are generally looking for the lowest priced items, speed of deliverability, convenience, and they tend to be a little less loyal. Whereas clients, you build a more intimate relationship with, and it tends to be a longer, ongoing process to create the thing that they need. An example in actual real life terms would be, if you're a painter, then say you painted a picture of a dog, you could sell prints of that dog, and people who order that print would be your customers. But if you had a client that wanted their specific dog that they have as a pet painted, then this would take longer. You would maybe have to make some edits, which generally for customers, if they're buying a product, then you will have a higher quantity of problems to solve, because you have a higher quantity of people you're dealing with, but the problems are a lot easier to solve. Whereas with a client, you might go back and forth on edits that could take hours and hours of your time. So clients generally, they pay a lot more for one item, but it's not as scalable because it takes more of your time. Let's say you charged $1,000 to paint someone's pet dog, and let's say it takes you 8 hours to do that, or 10 hours to keep the math simple. That would basically be $100 an hour. But let's say that you spent 10 hours making just a general dog that you sold as a print online, and let's say that the profit margin for selling one print is $5. So you make $5 per one print that you sell. Maybe the print costs the customer $30, $40, or $50 to order, but you have to factor in shipping and the materials. So it would take 200 customers to equal $1,000. If you get a bigger and bigger audience and more reach, potentially customers scale infinitely, whereas clients don't, because you only have so many hours in the day. You can say you painted for 20 hours straight and you made $2,000 off of that. Well, if you had a bigger and bigger reach with your customers, even though you're making less money per unit sold as opposed to client work, since it's scalable, since you literally don't have to physically paint each and every print, it's just a reproduction of this one big project that you worked on, then customers could potentially scale to the point where you're making way more than $10 an hour or $100 an hour. That's the best case scenario. Like if a person's only doing client work, it's really important to figure out how to turn that work that you're doing into some type of product that you can sell digitally. For instance, if you are, I'll just keep with the painting example, a painter, and you're using Photoshop, you could create custom Photoshop brushes and sell those as little digital downloads for say $10 or $15. Have 100 of your best custom brushes in it and use your artwork as examples to post on Instagram. Just mention the fact that the brushes you use to create this picture are available for anyone to download or purchase and create their own artwork with. On the other hand, if all you're doing is creating products, just dealing with customers, but you don't have client work, it's also important to branch out and start trying to get client work. You can build up a bigger reputation. You can put on your website that you worked with such and such brand or person or influencer, and that builds up more credibility, and it can also have the effect of making your products more desirable. So really figuring out how to serve both clients and customers, they feed into each other. When you enhance your products for customers, you increase your desirability for clients to hire you. If you work with more and more clients and you can figure out how to automate certain processes of what you're doing and turn those into products that people can purchase on their own, it builds up this mass like a snowball. It just gets bigger and bigger and builds up momentum.